Slope. Jordan, what do you got? What's one thing? Slope is M. Do you remember that? M is slope. It's assigned a letter of the alphabet. I'm not sure why M, but you know why? What's the formula? Y equals mx plus b. Write this down. Okay, this is slope, intercept, form. Write that down. You gotta know it. Veronica. Y equals mx plus b. That's slope, intercept, form. Write it down. Okay, the M right here, that is your slope. The M is always times x. It's always the number touching x multiplied to x. Jared, you in your seat. What is y? Y is your output. X is your input. And B is your y-intercept. Write them all down. So y equals mx plus b. M is the slope. Y is your output. X is your input. B is your y-intercept. You got it. I'm going to erase it. Drew, you got them all? Okay. Slope is rise over run. Handful of you guys remember that. This is huge. We're going to use this a lot today. Rise over run. Devin, you heard of that before? Okay. We're going to use this. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Do you remember using this? Drew? Do you remember? This is the formula to calculate slope. X sub 2, x sub 1. This is what these y's and x's mean. If you are given 3, negative 4, 5, 6. If you are given two ordered pairs, in your ordered pairs, the first one is always your x, the second one's your y, the first one's your x, the second one's your y. So the sub 2 and the sub 1, that means you've got two different y's. So here my y is negative 4 and 6. I got two different ones. It does not matter which one is the sub 1 or sub 2. Those just mean you got two different y's and you got two different x's. You have to have at least 2 points to calculate slope. These two we're going to use the most today. Rise over run and your formula. Okay, we got y equals mx plus b. Is there anything else we're missing? I think that's going to cover what we need for today. Go to your next slide. There's 4 types of slope. There's a positive slope. What is a positive slope going to look like? Okay, draw a picture. It looks like that. So the positive slope from the left, it goes up, it rises. So from the left to the right, like you read a book, Maddie, you gotta write it down, it's going up. If you're looking to the right, it's going up. Negative slope, it's, if you're going to the right, it's going down. So from the left, it falls. Okay, these other two, 0 and undefined, we're going to have to memorize them. Which one's 0 and which one's undefined? 0 is horizontal. One of them is going to be horizontal and one of them is going to be vertical. Undefined is vertical. Now, here's what you're going to have to memorize. You're going to have to memorize this. If you have a coordinate plane, the 0, let's say right here on your y, 1, 2, 3. Let's say there's a horizontal line going through the y-axis at 3. Okay, what is the slope of this line? So m equals 0. But what's the equation? This is what I want you to memorize, the equation. Your equation is y equals 3. It's pretty easy. Jordan, if you ever have an equation that just has one variable, most of your equations are going to be y equals mx plus b. Most of your equations are going to have a y and an x. They're going to have both letters. That means your line, any equation with y equals mx plus b, your line is going to go through both axes. It's going to go through the x and the y. But, no. If you only have one letter in your equation, they're easy. They're super, super easy. Lexi, you got to memorize it. It's y because it goes through the y-axis. Okay? This one right here, let's say you have the x-axis at 3. Let's say there's a line going up and down there. What's the equation of this one? The equation is x equals 3. So somehow you got to memorize them, because we're going to use them all the time. If you only got one letter, Jordan, it's easy. It's either horizontal or it's vertical. And then I just remember it's y because it goes through the y-axis. And this one's x because it goes through the x-axis. And you know the slope is? M is undefined. Alright. Okay, now A, B, C, and D do not have anything to do with the bottom. Okay? So ignore these. Daniel, your homework is going to give you problems like this. A, find the slope. So let's label it. X, Y, X, Y. Okay? Now how are you going to calculate the slope of a line that goes through those 2 points? You're going to have to use this. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. You're going to have to use this. If they give you 2 x's and they give you 2 y's, you're going to have to use this guy. So, what you need to remember is your y's have got to be the ones on top. So give me a y. Which y do you want to use? Do you want to use the 4 or do you want to use the minus 2? Okay, it does not matter. If we use the 4 first, you're going to get the exact same answer as if you would have used the minus 2 first. So the order does not matter. But it has to be subtract. So put minus. It's going to be y minus the other y, which is negative 2. Now, because you chose the 4 first, Drew, you're going to have to choose. This matters what you choose. If I chose the 4, then you got to choose this partner. Negative 1 minus the other x, 1. So now, do your math. What do you get on the numerator? What's your numerator? You should have 6 over a negative 2. Clean it up. What do you get? M equals negative 3. So that's your answer. This is what we got to end up with. M equals negative 3. Okay, you guys do B and C. B. Eddie? Put an X, Y, X, Y. Eddie? On top, subtract your Y's. So I'm going to do 7 minus my other Y. Negative 2. On bottom, 3 minus 3. So on top you got 9. On bottom you got 0. You cannot divide by 0. This one's the vertical line. So this one is undefined. C. On C, label them X, Y, X, Y. So it's going to be 4 minus 4 divided by a negative 3 minus 6. You're going to have 0 on top. Negative 9. Jordan, negative 9 times what is going to give you 0? So it's 0. Your slope is 0. Now, method number 2. Look at these lines right here. Here we go. What? Nothing. Nothing yet. Okay, these lines right here. Daniel, this guy right here, positive or negative slope? This one, M is? Okay, good, negative. This one, M is? And we don't ever write a plus, you just leave it blank and we assume it's positive. This guy right here, M is? Now, here's where you're going to use your rise over your run. Okay, I need to know exactly the calculation of this slope. How much rise, how much run? I need a number for the slope. So Devin, you have to choose a dot that lands up on this line that is also an intersection of the grid. Do you see I put this dot on the intersection of these 4 lines right here? You cannot put a dot in space. Jordan, this dot will not work. You cannot put a dot in the middle of space. Why? Because that number right here, look, if I put a dot somewhere between 4 and 5, if I go halfway, what number is that? Or 4.4 or 4.3. These dots in the middle are decimals. So we don't want decimals, we want integers. So on this line, do you see any place we can put a dot that also gives us integer values, that lines up on the grid? Where? 0, 1. This guy? That's 1, 0. So you just got them backwards. Okay, that works. I need another dot. Actually, look, is there a dot every? Okay, put them in. This line gives us a lot of dots. Now, Drew, you need to connect the dots. You need to tell me from dot to dot how far is my rise. That's up and down. So how far am I going up or down? What's my rise from dot to dot? Drew, from this dot to this dot, how far did I go up or down? I just went 1. So my rise is 1. Okay, my run, how far across? Your run is your horizontal. Savannah, how far did I go across? From this dot to this dot right here, how far did I go across? I went across 1. So your slope is a negative 1 over 1. Okay? So rise, write this down. That is your up and down. Your run, that's your left and right. That's across. Okay, right here, the middle one. I need some dots. Richard, where's the dot? Where is a point that is going to be on the line and on an intersection? You see any points on there? -2, negative. Okay, I agree right there. Put it. -2, go left 2, down 2. There's a dot. Okay, I need at least one more dot. Where's another dot? -4. -3, -4. No, it's close, but it's 0, 3. Okay, right there. 0, 3 is dot. So we got 2 dots. Jared, let's connect them. From this dot to this dot, how far did you go up and down? So make yourself a little triangle. How far did I go up from that dot to that dot? 5? 1, 2, 3. Yes, 5 is right. I went up 5. How far did I go over? You went over 2. So which one of those is my rise and which one's my run? 5 is your rise, 2 is the run.